Welcome to Out in the Field with Randall J. Hodges video lesson. Today we're doing one of our advanced classes, beaches. We're out on beautiful Second Beach in Olympic National Park. I just finished up teaching my 5-day big adventure in Olympic National Park, and tonight I'm going to stay out and film an episode for you. All right, let's talk first that you have to have had your introductory classes at Edmonds and at Wallace Falls before you're ready to take this class. If you haven't watched the Wallace Falls introductory class, please go back and do so now. That way your camera will already be set up. If you have watched your Wallace Falls video and your Edmonds video, you're ready for beaches. So let's talk about the gear we need for tonight's lesson. I'm packing the Canon 5D SR, the image monster, and I've got my wide angle lens on, my 16-35 f4 lens. I also have in my bag my 24-105 lens. I've got my plug-in cable release. I've got a graduated split neutral density filter set up in with a 1, 2, 3, and 4 stop in hard graduation on me tonight. I'm carrying my Hoodman loop so I can see my camera great. And right now we're going to pause and I'm going to put that gear list up for you so you'll know what to bring when you're out to shoot beaches. All right, welcome back. Now let's talk about our initial setup. So I'm going to be shooting tonight in f/20 or f/22. f/20 is my go-to landscape aperture. I'm running an aperture priority. I'm also going to click over to f/22 anytime I need a longer exposure or I think I'm going to get a sunstar. The other time I want to use f/22 is when I have extreme depth of field with something very close in my foreground. If that happens today, I will also go to f/22. Also in that gear list, I've got my beach boots, my Beach Neos over boots that I can pull over my regular boots if I want to stand out in the surf and do some wave action. So let's talk about that setup. f/20, my ISO is at 100. I'm going to start my white balance at 6000 K, and today we may be all over the board on white balance, and I'm going to be in my landscape roll of film. If you're on a Nikon, you're going to want to be in Vivid. If you're on a Sony, Vivid, Panasonic, Vivid, and if you're shooting a Fuji, probably your Velvia roll of film is what you're going to want to use for your color palette. So let's get those cameras set up. We're going to put up a slide with the basic setup to get started for today. All right, now that we're back, let's go over our 5 steps of taking a great photograph. First, we're going to set composition. Second, we're going to set filter. Today, that is our graduated split neutral density filter. Third, we're going to focus. And remember, we're going to focus about 15% into our photo. Then we're going to take that first photo, we're going to use exposure compensation to lighten or darken that photo. Once we've got that exposure right, then we're going to adjust our white balance and color palette. That's how we're going to be shooting all night. Let's head on out on the beach and get some practice. All right, we've set up a new composition. Let's go through all of the steps to take a world-class beach photo right in the camera. All right, first step, set that composition. Got some real nice framing out there with the rocks, using some of that beach and reflection and the wave design in my foreground there. I'm going to push that split neutral density filter right down to the water. And let's go ahead and take that first shot. All right, that came out a little dark. So I'm going to use my exposure compensation and I'm going to brighten that up by 1/3. time that wave just right to catch that foreground in there. All right, that's looking a lot better. Right now our light is pretty flat. We've got some onshore flow happening, and we're hoping that sun's gonna sneak through in any minute and give us a really great photo. The sun's just starting to pop out a little bit. Let's grab a shot. All right, now I want to turn on the video because I want you to see how the split neutral density filter is working. Now you can see my sky is completely blown out, and watch as this 3-stop split settles right in over that scene. Just push it right down onto that horizon. And now we balance light. That's much better. Turn off this video. And let's grab that shot. Looking pretty nice there. And let me just take a minute to talk about composition and what I'm looking for in a beach composition. I love it when I can get rocks in my foreground that the waves will swirl around. Right now I'm just using some wet sand to get some reflection in there, and I'm using the design of the waves to add to that foreground. I'm always looking at all 4 corners of my box, interesting clouds or formations in the corners, top and bottom. The better and more complete you can make that composition, the better our technique works. All right, I've changed it up and I'm pointing the other direction. I'm going to set up this shot. Composition first, filter second. Now I'm going to focus. And I'm going to focus about 15% into my foreground, right in the tide there, right on the wave. Focus right on that design. Beautiful. I'm still shooting f/22 ISO 100. I'm 1/3 of a stop dark. My white balance is 6000 K, and I'm in that landscape or vivid roll of film. Let's go ahead and grab this shot. Now that's coming out way too blue, meaning we are too cold. It is time to raise that white balance. I'm going to raise that up to 7200 K and take another shot. We're going to wait for a wave to come in here. We're going to try to capture this design right there. Excellent. Oh, and the color of the photo improved dramatically. 7200 K looks very good. All right, I tightened up my composition a little bit with that new white balance. I'm going to reset my filter, and I want you to see that again. So I'm going to switch over to movie, start that video. And I'm going to push up that filter again. Now you can see I'm out of balance. And I'm going to bring down that filter. And suddenly the scene gets balanced. Let's go ahead and turn off that video. And let's grab this photo. All right, now that we've got our aperture correct, we've got our filter set right, we've got our focus set correctly, we've got the right exposure, and we set that white balance. Right now we're getting some nice tones out there. Let's shoot a black and white. I'm going to start with a color photo. We'll let this wave advance right up in there. 1/8 of a second exposure, just a little movement. And now we're going to switch over to that monochrome roll of film. We'll wait for the next wave to come in looking really nice, and we'll put that in the bank. Here comes a nice one right now. That's a beautiful black and white. All right, we've changed it back up. We're looking north again. I've set my composition. I've set that filter. I've set that focus 15% into my photo, just focusing on some foam out in my foreground. Here comes a wave coming up in a color shot. F22 1/13 of a second at ISO 50. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna open that up a little bit. And we're gonna switch over and do another one of those nice black and whites. Wait for a nice wave to come in here. Here we go. All right. It's a nice looking black and white. I think I'm missing some light up high in the sky. So I'm gonna move in a little bit and I'm gonna open that composition up. Oh yes, and add some more drama in those clouds. And take another black and white. Oh, we'll just put that right in the bank. All right, we've changed it up yet again. We're more out in the surf, shooting north. Got that 3-stop split neutral density filter still in. Here comes a nice wave. Use those lines to create foreground in that image. That's looking very nice. The white balance has gotten a little hot in that direction, so I'm going to cool that off to 6800K. And let's grab another black and white. Here comes a nice wave. Get that line right down that. Very nice. All right, I've switched it up. Here we go. We'll use a little bit of that foam as motion in our photo. You can hit that on the way out. Here comes another one, 1/8 of a second. Capture that movement right into the camera. Oh, that's a beauty. We'll switch back to black and white and we'll wait for another good one. All right, here goes a black and white right into the camera. Beautiful shot. All right, I backed it up a little so I could take advantage of a little reflection in the foreground. Here we go. That's a beautiful cloud design and we're starting to get some very nice tones in those clouds. Now in black and white. Beautiful cloud design. That's a wicked black and white. All right, the colors are looking really nice. Oh, there's a reflection shot. Both in color and black and white. And again, I'm using all 4 corners of my box to create that composition, using the design in those clouds to finish out that photo. And that's a beauty. Let's switch it over to black and white again. Very nice. All right, we're going to switch directions. All right, we're looking north again. We're getting a little bit of a light beam back there. Let's start with a color shot here. And remember, I've already set my composition. I've set that filter. I have focused about 15% into my foreground. I'm going to shade the back of my camera unless I'm mirrorless. We'll let that reflection come back and we grab that shot. Then we decide if we need to lighten or darken it with exposure compensation. Once that exposure is correct, then we look at our white balance. And right now the white balance is at 6,800K and it looks ideal. We are all set up for sunset. That's how we do it. And don't forget that black and white. That's beautiful. That light's really coming around. Catch that perfect line. Fantastic. You want that split neutral density filter to just sit on the horizon in just a touch. You don't want to catch a light line under it, but if you notice you've got a dark line in your ocean, it's a little too low. Nailing the placement of that filter is critical. That's some very nice light right now. Every shot is different, every wave action is different, and the clouds are moving so fast that I'm getting no two shots that look alike. The colors are just getting a little deeper. We better take another shot. Oh, that's so nice. Here comes a wave. Let's grab that. Beautiful. So now as the light's gotten lower, at f22 ISO 50, I'm achieving 1/8 of a second. Just enough for a little bit of movement. As it gets later, that shutter speed's going to get longer and I'm going to capture more of that, and I will focus more of my photography on that wave action. But right now I'm switching between the wave action and that beautiful reflection with this great design of clouds up there. We'll just keep shooting. Oh, nailed that! The colors are starting to fade. We've changed it back up. We're looking the other direction. And let's go ahead and get this shot. My colors are starting to get pretty blue. That means, you know what? We're going to turn up that white balance. I'm going to go from 6,800K to 7,600K. And let's wait for just a second here. We'll let this wave come in. Oh, and we'll grab that at 0.3 of a second. That's beautiful. Well done. Well, it looks like we've reached the end of the night. Let's do some review what we've learned here today. We got our gear list and we got our camera set up. Right now I'm still shooting at f22 so I can get that long exposure. I'm getting 0.3 of a second. I am shooting 2/3 of a stop dark on my exposure compensation, and my white balance has ended up at 7,600K. I'm focusing 15% into my foreground, and I'm constantly checking that split neutral density filter to make sure I have it land right on that horizon. Let's grab one more shot here. We'll wait for that reflection. And the color has faded. That means end of the night. Well, it looks like we've reached the end of the night. That color has faded out, but we've learned excellent technique for capturing excellent photography all in camera right on the beach. Let's go through what we've learned again. First, we set our composition. Then we set our filter. Then we set our focus 15% into that frame. We've shaded the back of the camera and taken that first picture. We've lightened or darkened that picture using exposure compensation. And then finally, once the exposure is correct, we've adjusted color using our white balance. We've also shot some great black and whites today. Hey, we want to send some more footage your way, so we've got a bonus class for you coming from one of my favorite beaches along with Second Beach, which is Face Rock Beach in Bandon, Oregon. We're going to do a sunset for you where we learn how to capture that sun star, and we're going to be out in the surf for sunrise. And hopefully as you watch all that bonus footage, you'll get a real feel for how we do this right in camera out on the beach. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in your next lesson. We'll see you next time. Nailed it. Welcome to Face Rock Beach. That's the famous Wizard's hat. That is where we're gonna shoot our sunset. All right, we've set up here with the Wizard's hat and we're gonna practice capturing some sunstars. Now you've learned about those split neutral density filters in my Edmonds Beach class. So I'm rocking a 4-stop split on top. 4 stops of light darkening that sky and balancing light between the sky and that surf. I'm also positioning the sun right on the side of the rock. Now our settings are f/22, ISO 100, and I'm gonna start with a white balance of 6000K. And then we're gonna move that white balance up and down depending on what we think of our photo. On this camera, I'm gonna shoot at 1 full stop dark or -2/3 stop dark. Your camera, you might be at -1/3 or -2/3 stop dark. And reminder, we're an aperture priority. So we are controlling the aperture. And to capture a sunstar, you need to be at f/22, that smallest aperture. That creates the biggest star. So we've got wave action, and you can see I've got the beach boots on. That's going to keep my feet dry and I don't have to run away. I think this is a very important tool to have for this type of photography out on the beach. We've got a couple of waves coming in right now. I'm going to adjust my camera over so I've got the sun star in it, and I'm going to grab a shot. Now at f/22 I'm not getting a long enough exposure to drag that surf yet. I'm only getting 1/13 of a second, but as the light fades, I'll be able to take longer exposures and really work that surf. And that's really a bunch of beach shooting technique, is learning the foreground and how to make surf your foreground. So shutter speed and aperture, very important. And we'll use the ISO as it gets later to control that shutter speed. So right now, let's just practice making a sunstar. So once again, while I've stood here, the sun has gone back into the rock. I'm just gonna step aside a little, bring that sun back into view. You can probably see it on my face. I'm gonna set up my composition. And now I'm gonna turn on the video so you can see what my camera's seeing. You can see that beautiful sun star, but now I'm gonna lower that split neutral density filter and I'm gonna balance that light. Here we go. There we go. We'll turn off the movie and we're gonna take our first shot. Nailed it, that's in the bank. Now that sun, I only get 1 or 2 shots, and then once again, I've got to adjust my camera. Bring that sun back into view. Reestablish my composition. And reset that split neutral density filter. I just popped one off right there because I had a nice design in the surf. I've got some surf coming in. So here we go. We're gonna pop a few of them. There's one, there's one. Perfect. Loving those beach boots. Couldn't do it without it. Now, you can also get those shots as it's on the way out. I still don't have a long enough exposure to do that. Oh, we nailed that sunstar right there. So let's go through those techniques again. We're at f/22, smallest aperture to create the biggest star. ISO's at 100. I'm actually going to lower that to ISO 50 so I can get as long of exposure as possible. I shot that at -2/3 stop dark in aperture priority. I'm really happy with my Kelvin. It's 6000K. And let's talk about that color palette. I'm shooting in that landscape roll of film, which I call my Kodak Elite Chrome. If you're on a Nikon, you should be shooting in your Vivid roll of film. And also if you're Sony, Panasonic, Vivid, and if you're Fuji, hopefully from your beginning classes, you've tried a number of those Velvia rolls and you've selected your favorite. It's very important you get to know the color palette in your camera in order to decide what it is that you want to shoot. Today I'm going to use my landscape roll exclusively, except I will click over and shoot a couple of black and whites. All right, let's wait for that next good surf and we'll put some more in the bank. We're still working on those sunstars. We put the video camera behind us here so you can get a better look at what I'm doing here. Right now there's a reflection. And right now I'm getting too many sunspots, but I'm in a perfect position as that sun tips back into the wizard's hat, and again I have a chance to hit that sunstar. You get that perfect sunstar when the sun is about halfway. So working it on this side, I set up with the sun in my face, I get a shot, it has sunspots in it. But as that sun works halfway into the rock, I get 2 or 3 good shots and a smaller sunstar, and then I have to make the move again. That's how you keep practicing. The beach is a perfect place to learn how to capture sunstars because you get multiple chances at it. When it's just a horizon shot or a mountain shot, when that sun's going down, once it's down, that's it. You maybe got 3 good shots. So it is much better to practice in advance, and the beach is the way to do that. You can keep repositioning yourself on that rock, keep moving that sunstar out over and over and over until you've mastered the technique. Let's see. All right, already the sun has dipped in, so I'm gonna move out a little bit. Put the sun back in my photo. Reset my composition. Reset that focus. Now remember, let's go over what we learned in our introductory classes. First, we set composition. Second, we set filter. Third, we set focus. And you need to focus in your foreground about 10% in. Shade the back of the camera, and we take that first photo. Here we go. Woo! Oh, that's too much for the boots right there. Tighten those bad boys up. Oh, here's another good shot right here. We're pushing that tide. That makes it exciting though, doesn't it? Let's see how we did. Totally nailed the shot right there. All right, here we go. Just try to use those waves. Try to look for any design you can find. Excellent. I'm going to step out a little more, put that sun back in the photo, and repeat. Oh, beautiful wave action on that. While they were coming together there, I caught that nice cross. All right, here we go. Hit that right there. Hit that right there. And right there, catching some great reflections in the different waves there. Oh, that's in the bank. That's a fantastic shot. Welcome back to your out in the field video lesson, beaches. We decided to throw in some bonus footage. All right, that pink is coming alive. Let's put another one of these in the bank. That is beautiful. However, right now our color is a little bit off to the left, but the composition is a little bit off to the right. Sometimes you let color dictate your composition. We could make a move around the side and try to line up that color and then make it back here. I think that's a good plan. Let's do it. Well, we've moved our composition. What a scene that is. It's beautiful. I've got the moon in the photo. Now I'm very glad I have that wide angle lens on. Again, I'm at f/20, ISO 100. My white balance is perfect at 6000 K. 3-stop split neutral density filter on there, and I am focused about 15% into my foreground. Let's get one of these in the bank. Oh, that's fantastic. Again, I've got those beach boots on, just in case I want to get out there and play in that surf. Here comes a nice little wave. Let's add this into our foreground. Sometimes using that nice foam line and the reflection makes a fantastic image. The light is spectacular this morning. All right, we got a wave coming in. I've changed up the composition a little bit. 1 second exposure, and now I'm going to let that drag right in that photo. Sync that tripod. You always got to sync that tripod. Now get it on the way out. All right, we caught a little bit of that on the way out. That was pretty good. I was a little bit out of position there. Now we got to let that settle so we can get our reflection back or have another big wave come in. All right, I've walked into the scene a little more, tightened up that composition. I still have the moon up there in my photo, and right now we've got that great reflection shot. So again, I reset my composition. I reset that filter. I reset that focus in my foreground about 15%, 10 or 15%. And then I'm shading the back of the camera. I take that first photo. Then I'm going to use my exposure compensation to lighten or darken that photo. Right now I'm at negative 2/3 of a stop dark. And my white balance is going to go up just a little bit to 6500 K, as I thought the blues were a little too blue. Let's grab another shot here. This might be too big, but we're gonna try it. Hit that thing. Right there, beautiful. Woo! Oh, it's too much. We're holding on. Oh, look at that, we put it in the bank. Okay, get it on the way out. Here we go. 0.8 of a second exposure. ISO 50. And here comes another one right back at us. Whoo! That was amazing. Let's see how we did. We got some epic shots in the bank. That is exciting. That's why you need the beach boots, so you can stay out there and have some fun. Here comes another one. Hit that right there. Oh yeah. Hit it again right there. Right there. The more foam action in the wave, the better that drag is. We don't have a lot of foam in the wave, so the out drag is not as good as it could be. But those shots coming in are fantastic. All right, let's go over those settings. I'm at f20, ISO 50, 0.6 of a second exposure, 3-stop split neutral density filter on. Oh, and I just put that in the bank, just like that. That's how you shoot the surf out on the beach. What a beautiful sunrise we're having. All right, the lights faded. We've reached the end of the morning, but what a morning we had. We had lots of great practice learning those professional techniques to shoot epic beach photos right in the camera. So, pro tip, it's January 23rd. We're out here in the winter. Don't overlook shooting those beaches in the winter. Some of my very best gallery-worthy beach shots come in the winter. So that's the end of the day for this class. We'll see you in your next advanced class. Nailed it.